Hey, Corona TV viewers, this is Peter Keys from Leonard Skinner. I want to wish you all a happy birthday.
First of all, let's just do the elbow bump because we can't do the handshake right now.
Hello, everybody on Corona TV. This is Macy Gray.
You're smiling, and I saw your beautiful daughter earlier, who I said could come on the show anytime. Welcome, Shiv Singh.
Thanks for having me, Joseph. Great to be with you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Corona TV. It is Wednesday, May 20th. What could go wrong after yesterday? Answer, everything could go wrong. I don't even know if it was a wardrobe malfunction. It was more like a skin tone malfunction when I held my phone to the camera. The green screen went, I don't know what happened to it. And then suddenly it looked like my blood was boiling, literally. My face was redder than the shirt I'm wearing. I couldn't figure it out. But you know what? It energized me. And Mark Schaefer and I were having a little chat before, and Mark said, I love that idea of energy and re-energizing. And maybe that's what's happening right now, is we are energizing ourselves. We are, if we choose to, right? If we choose to. I just want to tell you that I'm moving over to the dark side. I have decided to accept advertising, but don't worry. It's not what you think. It's not paid advertising. I had this epiphany the other day. I want to support entrepreneurs and I want to support small businesses. And so from now on, from today, every day I will be promoting a small business or an entrepreneur. You just have to send me information on your business and I will do a live read. I will put you into the show. It is free and it's always going to be free. It's the least I can do for you. Someone who has become a friend of the show, Bob Farnham, has a day job. He's known as Bob the Green Guy. And let me go ahead and put his little crawl in as well. He actually knows a thing or two about video and audio production, and specifically Zoom production. He does a lot of work with politicians and helps them as well. Now that they're, Joe Biden in his basement or Bernie Sanders, a lot of the politicians, he's in Vermont, which is why he has a connection to Bernie Sanders. There are a lot of people out there that are trying professionally, politicians that are, have no choice. They have to campaign online, and they're doing a terrible job at that. But Bob can help. And if you are looking to move your business or your campaign online and using Zoom and using video and using lighting, Bob will tell you, he'll be the first person to tell you that my lighting's terrible. Look at me. Look at the shine. I'm still trying to work out the lighting. My green screen malfunctions all the time, but Bob will help you. Mark, welcome to the show, my friend.
I'm so happy to be with you. I'm honored. I've been looking forward to this so long because, I've just loved you and your intellect from early on the Mitch Joel podcast days. That's when I became your fan. So this has been, I just couldn't wait to get on with you.
As many people know, Corona came to town and knocked on your door. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if you wouldn't mind sharing elements of your story.
I would say, looking at the whole world and how this virus has unfolded, I would characterize my symptoms as sort of moderate because I didn't have to go into the hospital. And I had a few scary days where my, the chest pressure was the thing that was really, really weird. And there were a couple days when the chest pressure was getting worse and worse and worse. And the CDC says that's one of the signs you need to go to the hospital. And I did not want to go to the hospital. So I sort of waited it out, and it ended up being okay. I think the main lesson I learned from this, Joseph, was the mind game. That it's almost like this mental strain that's as bad or worse than the physical problems. Because number one, what you learn is that nobody knows what they're doing. There is no cure. There is no medicine. You just let it roll through your body, unless you have to go to the hospital. My symptoms and my wife's symptoms, they were like different every day. It was just like throwing something different at you every day. And so you didn't know what was going to be next. You didn't know if it was going to get worse. Mine lasted for about 3 weeks. So, I had a fever for 15 straight days. And then finally got well enough and tested negative again. I had been doing like you. I love what you're doing to help and create content and be generous. So I started a video series called Embrace the Chaos. Embrace the Chaos, right? So we're in this time, all this uncertainty. What do we do? How do we handle it? How do we focus? My instinct and my family heritage is to sort of go quiet. It would be like go under a rock, just get through it. It's nobody's business. It's sort of my family heritage. But then, there's so many people who are connected to me, and I was being very public with all this content, and I knew this was going to get out. And, I'm so fortunate and blessed, Joseph, to have so many people, thousands of people all around the world who watch me, who care about me. And I thought, okay, I need to say something about this, but, I don't know if I want to. And here's sort of what I hung on to. I thought, what would Brene Brown do? Oh,
how about that? You didn't expect that.
Oh, you are the man. That is scary good. And I think Brene Brown would say, just start with be brave. Just start there. And, and when this whole thing started, I was disoriented like all of us because I lost all my business like you, right? And it took me about 3 days to realize that in my heart, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher in everything that I do, and that I still can be a teacher, but the world needs me to teach something else right now. And so I gained my footing again, and I thought, well, look, I can use this as an opportunity to teach. For many people, I'm going to be the first person they know that has this disease. So I can destigmatize the disease. I can use, if I give an update, I can use that as an opportunity to lift people up and encourage people. And so that's how I decided to use my platform, and then use it as an opportunity to also create a message of hope. I've said often that, leaders dispense hope. And that's important to me, to set a good example and try to be a leader in this time. And I think one way we can all do that, as you're doing it, is to dispense hope.
You didn't even know this, that my wife contracted the virus as well, and I wasn't even here. I was in South Africa, and I saw, you've probably seen this all the time. People post on Facebook and they go, do you know anyone who has anyone directly or indirectly that has contracted the virus? If so, how many? And a lot of the comments are, nope, no one person. And I wrote 45 plus. And even you were shocked by that number. Literally 45 people, maybe more, in the area that I live. And it seems to me, as you say, there is still a stigma, but more importantly, there's still a lack of knowledge and education and awareness when all the states are opened up and going back, and people don't even know what the symptoms are for the most part. I just found out through David Meerman Scott that there's something called COVID toe. Who knew?
Seems like every day we're learning something new. And I'll give you a great example. As I got into this, one of the symptoms I had was this mental fogginess. I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I couldn't concentrate, and I was on no medicine. So because I was a statistic, I was getting a call every day from the health department to check on me. And I said, I just got to tell you, I think this has something to do with the virus. And what they discovered is that because the virus it's lowering your oxygen level. I was basically in a state of hypoxia, like going to the top of Mount Everest, right? I was disoriented. I wasn't getting enough oxygen. And midway through my illness, they added that as a symptom. That's how much they didn't know. Chris Cuomo, the CNN commentator, started reporting on the same thing. He said, I have this mental disorientation. I just don't understand why this is happening. Same thing.
I would have almost assumed incorrectly that Mark Schaefer would have shared it publicly because it's part of what he preaches, and talking about transparency and openness and social. And then I realized, I caught myself, because you know what? We think we know people, but we don't know them. I mean, we think we know them because of their public persona. Because it's the same thing like celebrities. It is an element of celebrity. And it just hit me that your instinct wasn't to share or to overshare. And in fact, when I read one of your posts, what if, God forbid, you had taken a turn for the worse?
I know.
What would have happened then?
Yeah, I mean, and the whole idea of being open and transparent is really something I've had to learn over the years. And I started getting into the social media world, blogging and creating content, and I was very sort of uptight and corporate and very, very private. And so it's been a journey for me where I would just like experiment and open up a little bit. And every time I opened up, I was rewarded, because people would say, oh, Mark, how did you know? I was struggling with the same thing. How did you know? We were just talking about this thing. So, I'm still not the best at it, but I realize it's important, but it's always an internal struggle for me to be open like that. I'm naturally a very private person and an introvert, really. Every podcast episode I create, every book, here's the only thing that goes through my mind. I will never let you down. I will never let you down. If you grant me this gift of your time, it will be worth your time. It'll be interesting. Maybe it'll even be a little, entertaining for people to connect with you, for people to share your content, for people to hire you eventually. You've got to build that trust. And I think that trust is built on this idea of, this is someone that will not let me down. I think in the modern world, Joseph, we see this as a symbol when people put stickers on their laptop computers. I think that's a symbol of, this is like an extension of my brand. This is an extension of me. I'm going to show the world that I've got this Yeti sticker on my whatever. I'm wearing a Yeti hat, or, whatever their favorite brand is, because they won't let me down. And I think that's what it takes for a brand or a business to be an extension of a personality like that.
You know what it makes me think of? It's in my studio. Sorry, I forgot. I was going to say office, but this is a studio. You can see.
I know, it's very impressive.
There's something I want to show you, and so I think I'll go show it to you quickly, because we can still be a little informal. I just hope you don't see that I'm not wearing pants. But this is what it makes me think of, Mark. When I moved to the US, I ended up working at Ogilvy and Mather, and this was my name tag, but it was a magnet. I mean, it's come off now, but it was a magnet, and they would just pop it on the door. Mm-hmm. But people were always being hired and fired and laid off and rotated, and they just take the magnet off and move it around. And I thought to myself, that's not loyalty. That's not the Yeti sticker on the laptop.
Yeah, right.
You should solder this. You should screw it in so that every time you have to move a person, you got to pretty much take down the whole door. But that's the commitment to your laptop. When you put that Yeti sticker on your laptop, you're basically saying, if I have to pull this thing off now, it's going to leave an ugly mark. I better be sure about this alliance, right?
I love that. I love that metaphor. I really do. I love that. It blends perfectly with the laptop sticker idea. My goal in life is to be a laptop sticker.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've got marketing. I've got a marketing rebellion stickers. Actually, I'll send people if they want. It says marketing rebel, and it has that cool peace sign thing that's on my book. So if you guys want, look at you. You are insane.
How did I do that?
You're insane. You're insane.
I literally only prepared 2 slides, and these are the
That's
2.
great.
I'm curious as to what your thoughts are now coming through COVID-19 as to looking back even at this book. What's changed? What hasn't changed? What should change? What addendum would you now kind of overlay on top of this wonderful book?
So here were these companies that held on to the old ways. They went to their advertising agency and they said, oh, we need to show that we're sensitive during the pandemic. And it became a meme. All these ads, they look the same. They became annoying because they don't know what else to do. They're just holding on to this legally approved scripted playbook that is irrelevant. Now, some companies got into the trenches. They rolled up their sleeves. They got in the communities.
Daniel said, imagine a horde of marketing rebels working for companies that are just built to suck. That is a recipe for cataclysmic change. Maybe. There is no playbook for what we're going through. And whatever playbook you have, it's time to tear it up and throw it out. And with that, your brand guidelines. Because right now, the more we try and predict and control, the less in control we will be. Mark, when I see you next, I'm going to give you a giant bear hug, my friend.
Oh, that would be great. And how we will appreciate those beautiful small joys in life when we get through this, huh? Joseph was saying, I kind of feel energized when you're focused on the moment and what is knowable and what you can do right now. That really relieves a lot of the anxiety that's not helpful. When you start thinking about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen in the economy and what's going to happen to my favorite nonprofits and our favorite restaurants. I mean, if you dwell there, and you can't help but dwell there sometimes, but if you dwell there, that's when things really get bad from an anxiety standpoint. If you could just say, hey, this is what I know, and this is one positive thing I can do today to kind of hang on to.
There's that wonderful quote, which is change happens when the pain of not changing is greater than the pain of changing. And that's what's happened right now, is that they're sandwiched between 2 slices of pain, right? And also known as between a rock and a hard place. Sorry, Jen.
No. First of all, what a great show. And thank you, Mark, for the work that you're doing, including today. I mean, like, you're working today and you're doing it.
Think about even what we're doing right here. I mean, we didn't really do this sort of thing 3 months ago. Great ideas and great creativity really come out of collaborations more than just some single, brilliant idea. And as we saw with like Leonardo da Vinci's art, it was iterations and people collaborating together. And so that's why I love something like this. And I think just having a discussion like this is a great idea, Joseph. This is a nice feature of your show.
Thank you. The whole marketing space has been predicated on a flawed process, which is the concept of the big idea. That the big idea is just birthed and born, and there's an aha moment. And the reality is that it's all sparks that lead to flames that lead to raging fires. It's something that you said that then I pick up on, that then Steve riffs and Jan expands on, and it is truly a collaborative process. And it also goes against the very nature of the organization, which is hierarchical and all about control.
There's a book that never leaves my bookshelf, Innovation and Entrepreneurship by Peter Drucker. And this book is special to me for a couple of reasons. When I was in graduate school, I got to study under Peter Drucker for 3 years. Wow. And one of the lectures was about this book. And the thing that he would just emphasize to us is that the company with the big idea usually loses, because it's the companies that come after that and iterate that really make the money. I think the biggest example of that is the iPod.
I often say to companies, what's your Amazon moment? And what I'm talking about is when Jeff Bezos cut his television spend to zero, and he said, we're going to put all of that money into free shipping. And you could also say the second Amazon moment was Prime. Both of those ideas were transformational. And every company has an Amazon moment. What is the moment that defines you, defines your industry, even defines the world? On the flip side, we can now say, what is your Carnival Cruise Lines moment, right? Or what's your cruise lines moment? Because that industry is absolutely, when you look at your industry, you may not know what it is, but if you believe that it's coming, then the question is, there's your fork in the road. You know, Amazon is the high road and cruise liner is the low road, and it can make or break.
I want to thank you all. Thank you so much, Mark and Joseph. To have you in the same place at the same time for the first time ever is just like a bit blowing my mind. Thank you so much.